Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. I want to thank you for being here today and taking time out of your busy schedule to share some crafting time with me. Um, let's go ahead and get into our introductions. Like I said, my name is Debbie Foster. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas, and we're going to be doing 3 cards today. Um, Let me go ahead and get into our housekeeping notes here. To start with, we've got Paper Pumpkin going on until June 10th to subscribe to this Paper Pumpkin kit. It is called Bikes and Blooms. It says these cheerful cards with standout silver details are made for feel-good moments. Makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with 9 coordinating envelopes. Silver foil and pre-cut paper pieces, silver butterfly embellishments and linen thread. And the Stampin' Spot that you're going to get with this one is going to be the Calypso Coral. And it says metallic butterfly embellishments add pops of shine. And you can kind of see those up in the corner or the top left-hand corner. Little butterflies, those are very cute. And to go along with that Paper Pumpkin kit and the previous ones that were from April, May, and then now June, you can add on the add-on dies, which are called Beautiful Blooms dies. And these are item number, it is, well, let me get my page over here. Item number 168665, and the cost is $13 for these. But you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to get those. And then we've also got our last chance products going on that was just updated the other day. You might want to go into my store and check that out, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now, www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And we have products in here that are no longer going to be available. So it's while supplies last. And some are discounted. So you might want to check those out. And also, we've got product of the month going on. This is our new one for June. Our June product of the month. It is called Wild Bunch. It is a stamp set. And what it is when you spend $75 in my store, you can receive this product of the month for only $5. So look how cute that is. It says the sentiments are happy birthday. Thank you for all you do. Hi, friend. Sending love. Just a little note. And it's got a cute little cow, a snail. I think that's maybe a koala bear. And then it's got like a penguin and then some other images, a gift, a birthday hat, a heart, and some flowers. So very cute. And you can see the picture there. They've made a card up already, and it says sending love. Very, very cute. And we've still got our product of the month from May, which was our vellum Signer Series paper. And let me point my camera down. I can show you that flyer. And we'll take this off the screen. Make this a little bigger. And I know my lighting isn't very good. We've got kind of a cloudy, overcast day. But this was from our May product of the month. And it's very pretty. We're going to be using that today. It's called Berry Botanical Vellum. And that's also available for $5 with a $75 order. All right. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Be sure you comment and say hello when you come on. Let me get that off the screen. Be sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching me on Facebook, like and share the video. I'd appreciate that. And invite your friends to come join us. All right. So comment when you come on. Say hello, where you're watching from. So I'm thinking I've gone over the housekeeping notes. I also want to remind you to Well, here's the Paper Pumpkin sign up link, but that's also in the description of my video. So, and then we've got our starter kits where you pay $99, you get $125 worth of product and free shipping. And after you get your starter kit, your first order that you place, you'll be able to have a discount on your products starting out at 20%. So that's a good deal. All right. Oops, let me take that back off of there. All right, and I'm going to take that subscribe button off of there too, so we make some more room here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our program. I am going to be doing 3 cards today. And let me get that first one up here to show you. And we'll make some room over here, get our bits and pieces out. I feel kind of out of sorts today. I'm not sure why. It must be the weather. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Okay, so here we have Hello Friend, and on the inside, Love You Lots. And this is using our Sweet Bugs bundle, the stamp set and the dies. And also we're using the Designer Series paper that goes along with that. And let me see if I have a sheet here to show all of them. And I don't have that handy. Let me grab that. Well, I have seemed to have misplaced it. And well, I don't know. It's got different patterns in here, very pretty. And I'm going to be using, we are using the back side of this one. And also the back side of this one, which it has the little critters on the front side that you can die cut. We're going to be die cutting some of those out. And for the front panel, we are using, it comes in one sheet like this, a 12 by 12. And we're using this image right here. We've cut that out to use as our front panel of our card. So let's go ahead and set those aside and we'll get started. My instructions over here. All right, today is Thursday, June 4th, 2026. All right. Very cute. We're going to start out with our card base, which is our Mossy Meadow. And that's going to measure 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. It's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. So we're going to burnish that fold line with our bone folder. And we're going to go this orientation. It's going to be a little bit different than our normal. And then next we have our Designer Series paper, which is this pattern. And that measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. So we're going to go ahead and attach that to our card front. And look how cute those guys are on the back side. It's always hard to decide which side of the paper to use because I like both sides. All right, and of course my glue is going to give me fits today. Let me get that unplugged. Sometimes we have glue bottles that plug up more than others. I don't know what's the reason for it, but this one seems to be temperamental. All right, and we're going to place that onto our card front. Hope everybody's had a good week. Mine's been pretty good. No drama. It's going fairly well. We got new cell phones yesterday. They came, so I had to set those up yesterday. So that was a challenge. I never done it before, but I did manage to get it done. All right, and next we're going to be using our party banners dies. And we're going to die cut our mossy meadow using, let me see if I got the right one here. It's going to make me take the whole thing out of the package. I've already die cut it, so I'm going to just show you which one I used. It's not that one, it's a smaller one. And not that one either. Maybe this one. Yes. So this is the number 7 from the largest die of the banners, party banners. And I've already die cut that out already. So we're going to set that aside. And then we're not going to attach that yet. We're going to add our ribbon to that. So I'm going to bring over my silicone mat here, and we're going to add some tear and tape to hold down our ribbon. And the ribbon that I'm using is the Specialty Rick Rack, and this is Old Olive. And I'm going to put a strip of tear and tape along that edge on the left side. I'm going to get it fairly close to the edge, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so. I'm going to leave a little bit to go over the edge after I get unstuck from my fingers here. Just wrap around the back side, back in camera view here. And I'm going to grab my take your pick tool. Grab that paper backing off. And then we're going to grab our ribbon and we're going to place that across that tear and tape. Let me get that centered. And that is really crooked. So let's pick that up and redo it. And we'll attach it on the back side. Bring my scissors over here. And I thought I made a bow ahead of time. I guess I didn't, but we'll come back and do that. All right, now this is going to go onto our card front. And I'm just attaching with our Tombow glue. And put enough glue on there to hold it in place. This is going to go centered on our card front. All right, so far. And then we have our image here that's already been cut out. And this measures 3 inches by 4 inches. And that's going to go onto the front of our die cut there. I'm going to trim off a little edge right here. And some of that lighter color showing through. It's not supposed to be on there. So I'm going to go with just a little bit under 4 inches. Fits right there. And we're just going to attach this with our glue. You could put it up on dimensionals if you wanted to, but I want it to be mailing friendly, mail friendly. Sometimes the post office can get fussy with our cards and want to charge us a little extra. All right, so that's going to go onto the front, onto that die cut, that party banner. And then next we have, let's see inside. We have our designer series paper, and we're going to die cut some of these critters out, and making sure I've got everything over here that I need. And we'll get our dies that go along with that. And we're going to use our small cut and emboss machine, or as I call her, Squeaky, because she squeaks when I turn the handle. All right, so we're going to decide on which ones we want. We want this little guy here and this little bee up here. So we'll find the dies that go along with that. And I think that's for the bee. And let me see. I think this cuts out the little guy reading the book. No, another one here. Well, I'm not seeing it. Where did it go? Missing one. Ah, yeah, it's still on the envelope here. We found him. There he is right there. So let me put these back into my folder so I don't lose my dies. I don't want that to happen. All right, and I'm going to hold these in place with some washi tape that I've already got here. And get that lined up. And we'll cut out our bee. And then I'm going to come back and cut out the flower afterwards because it's kind of close to the bee to be able to get it. So we'll have to do 2 swipes here. All right, so here's the little guy reading his book. And our bee will go up here. And then I'm going to come back in and cut out this flower that's right here. So let me grab that die. And I think it's right there. A little tiny flower. And we'll snitch some of this washi tape. Yeah, let's see that. I think it moved on me. All right. Run that through. And set that aside for now. All right. And I also cut out just our basic white, kind of like a shadow background for our critters there, so that um, they won't be so flimsy, because the designer series paper is kind of thinner than what the cardstock is. So I'm just going to attach these to those. And instead of using dimensionals, I'll kind of give them a little bit of height to go on top of our card without too much bulk. Well, my glue bottle is being stubborn here again. And place them down on top of that. Well, there we go. And we'll do the same for the bee. Get a hold of him or her. Might be a girl. And for the little boy reading the book. Okay, if you're watching this on the replay, I'd appreciate you subscribing to my channel and liking the video and sharing the video, just like you would if you're live. And also, I'd love to have you comment. And I always look at my comments later, so don't think I'm going to miss them. All right, so this little guy's going to sit right there, and this little bee up here. So we're just going to use our adhesive and just attach those. And he's kind of sitting off center of that mushroom, just relaxing, having a good day. And the bee is going to go up here in the upper corner. And she's flying in there, and she's going to give this little guy a flower. I got some extra glue there, but that's going to dry clear anyway. It's not going to show. And maybe I can dab it off with a napkin here. There. All right, so far. And then next, we're going to stamp our sentiment onto that designer series paper, which I've already done that. I've stamped it using the Mossy Metal ink pad. And then we're just going to fussy cut this out. So I'm just going to go along the hello with the narrow edge. The hello is going to go up here. And then we're going to fussy cut the friend sentiment out. And I'm just leaving a small edge going around the letters. I feel like I'm forgetting something today. I don't know what. Probably something to do with my introduction. I probably forgot something. And this is going to go at the bottom. So I'm going to grab my adhesive and put that down. And I'm going to go off the edge a little bit. And we'll grab our hello. I think I got that kind of crooked. Let me see if I can straighten that out a little bit. And upper left-hand corner. And then next, we've got, these are the Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. We're going to put some ladybugs down on this and some of the water spots, I guess is what that is. So I'm going to start out with the ladybugs first. And I need to use the pointy end of my take your pick tool to get that up. And I don't know, I think I'm going to put one here. And another ladybug. We're going to add over here. And then a water spot we're going to put on the mushroom. So you can kind of see that. There's a spot right there. And to add a little bit of bling, we're going to add some Wink of Stella to the bee's wings. And a little bit to the flower petals. All right, and I'm going to make a bowl using our rack again. So I'm going to bring my bowl maker over here. I usually make those ahead of time. I don't know why I didn't, but it won't take me but a minute. If my fingers cooperate on camera, that is. Sometimes we get fumble fingers when we're going live. All right. I have ribbon scissors here and cut that down to size. And this is going to go onto our side of our banner there. And I need my glue dots, which are hiding. I'm getting down to the end of my roll here too. And place that onto our ribbon on the side there. Very cute. And let's work on the inside. We've got our basic white, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I've got a strip of that same designer series paper as the front. And that's going to go onto our left edge here. But I want to stamp my sentiment first. And I'm going to put Love You Lots on the inside. And I'm using the Mossy Meadow stamp pad. Love You Lots. And it's going to go off to the right side a little bit. That's pretty straight to me. How'd I manage that? Usually I'm crooked. That's why I didn't attach my DSP until I've got it stamped already in case I have to turn it over. And you can kind of see which side's up. We've got the grass right underneath the flowers. So I'm kind of looking at that to make sure I get it right. So I think it's this way. And I'm going to leave a small edge on that left side. I'm going to flip that over and trim out that excess. I guess I cut it a little bit longer. If I have it too long, then not long enough. And we'll put that on the inside of our card now. And make sure we're right side. Yep. You don't want to put it upside down. And looks good. All right. So, hello, friend. Love you lots. Okay, so that was our first card. Move things out of the way here, make room for our next one. All right, then next we have a fun fold. Get all my things out of here before we start. Okay, hello, and this opens this way, thinking of you. And we are using some different stamps and things in this one. So to start out with, we're using Lovely Arrangements. That's for the flower. And the die that goes along with that. And then we've got our Scalloped Wishes. I'm using the Hello sentiment. And then Forever Florals for the inside, we're using Thinking of You. And the dies I'm using are the Sweet Words and Labels dies. And I'll get back to that in a minute. And then the Fern and Flora stamp set for the butterfly. And the die for the butterfly, whoops, right here. So it's quite a few different things I'm using out of there. So, and I am also using the Designer Series paper. I'm using the new product of the month for May, the Vellum, and also the Velvet Meadow. And this is like a velvet feeling to it. So the little white specks are velvet. And all right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. I'm going to start out with our card base, which is not going to be a card itself. It's just going to be the base. And this is Cloud Cover, which measures 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And we're going to go this orientation. And then next we have that paper, that specialty paper that's got the velvet on there. And this measures 2 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches. Or wait, I've already cut this down to size. Okay, 2 3/4 by 5 3/8. I had that right. It's going to go onto our left side of our card base. And then we have our vellum with the Peaceful Pine polka dots. And that is 1 3/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. That's going to go alongside that. So we're going to go ahead and attach those down. So we're going to start out with our Designer Series paper first. And we're going to turn that sideways so I can get that on there, leaving a small border on the 3 sides. And for the vellum, I'm going to use our adhesive sheets, and I'm going to attach that to the back side so we don't have our glue showing. So let me get this peeled off of here. It's got little tear strips here, so I'm going to remove that. And we'll place that down onto our vellum. And tear off the middle section. Okay, it all came off of there, so we're good to go. Oops, I got a little crease there. And now we're going to take that off. Our paper. Well, I don't think this one came off. What have we done here? I think we've got a technical problems here. My adhesive didn't come off the bottom area, did it? Maybe it did. I guess it did. Didn't look like it was off. And a little adhesive stuck on the front there. Get that off. All right, so here is our first layer. Next we have another cloud cover. This measures 3 1/4 inches by 8 1/2 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. We're going to take our bone folder and burnish that fold line. This is going to be our main portion of our card. It's going to attach to that. It's going to lift this way. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that to our card front. Put a little extra on there because we're going to have movement. So this is going to go centered onto that front of our card base. And give it a little press. And then I've got our designer series paper. I've got this one, and this measures 3 inches by 4 inches. That's going to be our front there. It's picking up out there. We're supposed to have some rain, I think, today. Sorry about that. I forgot to mute my phone. All right. So far, but we're not done. We have die cut our cloud cover using the Sweet Words dies. And I'm using, I believe it was this die and also this die to cut those out. The cloud cover is this one. And the basic white is this die. So I'm going to put those back in my envelope so I don't lose them. And we'll go ahead and attach the cloud cover in the center of our designer series paper. And that was the first call I got on my new phone, and might know it'd have to be spam. All right, so I'm going to see if that's straight. It looks good. And then we'll place the white one onto that. And center that onto our cloud cover die. All right, so now we're going to do some stamping and die cutting. So I've got my bubble bath cardstock here, and we're going to stamp the flower and the butterfly and our sentiment hello. It's going to be stamped onto our white cardstock. All right. So I had a skinny basic white. I'm thinking that might work for my sentiment. So I'm going to be using our Berry Burst stamp pad. This is one of our old stamp pads, but it still works. So let's do the sentiment first onto this little strip of paper. And this is probably a 1/4 inch. So we're going to stamp that. And we'll fussy cut that in a moment. And then I want 3 butterflies, 2 for the outside and 1 for the inside. I'm going to stamp another one because that one kind of messed up the wing a little bit. That's better. And we need 1 flower. And while I'm at it, I might also stamp the inside. For the inside layer, this is our basic white, 3 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment on the inside and be done with the stamping. And that was thinking of you. Okay, so we got the stamping done. And this goes on the inside. I need to bring my die cutting machine back over here. We will die cut. And now I've got to find my dies. Go with these. All right, here's for the flower. That was in the Lovely Arrangements dies. Place that onto our flower and die cut that. And around and around till I find where it matches up at. And that's the spot. Grab our washi tape to hold that in place. And the butterflies die comes from the Vernum Floral dies. And butterfly right here. And I'll have to run this through 3 times because I've only got 1 die for the butterflies and I'm wanting 3 of them. All right, run that through. See, we're still squeaking. Yeah, let's move that stamp out of the way. There's 1 butterfly. Here's our flower. A bit of traffic on the highway today. Yeah, we live right on a highway. All right, butterfly number 3. Okay. Now we can start attaching. And I'm going to cut my sentiment off of there first. And it's just a straight cut on each side. One butterfly goes there. These 2 go on the front side. And then I've fussy cut, I'm going to fussy cut some of the leaves from that paper. And these aren't velvet, they're just flat. Looks like peaceful pine. So I'm going to fussy cut these leaves out. There's no die for them, but it's not real difficult. Leaving a small edge going around them. It doesn't take that long. Okay, and then we have another single one. It looks like I might have already cut one of those out already, but I've got it finished now, so I might as well keep going. Okay. All right. So we're going to attach our flower. And I'm not using dimensionals on it because we've got different layers here. So I'm going to place that down. Put some glue on the center of the flower. And place it probably midway. And our double leaves are going to go on the left side of that flower. We're just going to scooch that up underneath it and place that down. And then our single leaf is going to go on the other side of that flower. think my bottle's getting down to the end again. And slip that up underneath there. All right, I've already made a bow from our ribbon, which is the Peaceful Pine bordered ribbon. I've already made the bow. And that's going to go at the bottom of that flower. And I'm going to use my mini glue dots again. Place that down. And where's my take your pick tool? Hiding. Lift that off. And place that under the flower. And I'm going to trim down those tails of that ribbon a little bit. And we're going to place a butterfly up in this section and the other one up in this corner. Well, I think my bottle is getting close to the end. And I'm just putting glue in the center of the butterfly. I'm not doing the whole thing. And our hello is going to go across the flower a little bit. And then we've got, for embellishments, we're using the Dreamy Flowers. And I'm going to add those. I'm going to use the white ones. I'm going to put a large one in the center of the flower. Oops, come back here, flower. And then I'm going to use two small ones up in the corner. Oops, I got that upside down. Well, it's not picking up very well here. Gotta persuade it. There we go. And I'm going to take my Wink of Stella again, and I'm going to add a little bling in the center of that butterfly's body, just at the top tip of it. And that's about all we're going to put on that. We're going to put some on the inside one too. So let me go ahead and do that. And we can put this on the inside. But first, we've got a piece of vellum that is going to go along the bottom side. And I'm just going to use my adhesive. We're going to attach the right at the bottom, leaving a small border at the bottom. And add that to the inside of our card. And I'm going to put that butterfly down in this bottom left-hand corner. Put her at an angle. All right. Hello. And then it opens this way, thinking of you, with that cute little butterfly on the inside. So we've got 2 butterflies on the outside and 1 on the inside. All right, so that's card number 2. Let me straighten up a little bit here and we'll get on with our 3rd and final card. Clean up my scraps of paper here. All right. Here, put some pieces out here where I show the card. Okay, this is going to be a get well soon card. It says, get well soon. May you feel God's care and healing as you recover. And this is using our designer series paper that is black and white. And it is called, let me get that out here. It is called Artisan Sketched Garden. And let me show you the papers that come with that. We've got some here that are the bases, and you can color these, or you can leave them black and white. And that's the back side. And next we have this one pattern with that stripes on the back. And these are the 2 that we're using today on today's card, but I wanted to show you the pack of paper here. So you can color these, or you can leave them just black and white, whichever you prefer. And then also we're using our in colors for 2026. This used to be our 6x6 size, but now they've changed it to 12x12. And these are the 2026 to 2028 in color painted patterns is what it's called. And we are using this pattern here. That's the back side. And then the next pattern is polka dots. So you've got 4 patterns that we're getting with our in colors. And this is the crisp cantaloupe color. So let's go ahead and get started with our card. We're going to start out with just our basic black cardstock, which measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. We're going to go portrait style. And next we have our designer series paper, which I'm using this pattern. And that measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. So we're going to go ahead and attach that to our card front. I like the stripes too, the black and white stripes. Like I said, it's hard to decide which pattern, which side of the paper to use. And make sure my flowers are going the right direction, not upside down. So it looks right. And see if I can't scooch that over a hair. Card front. All right, and then next we have the dies I'm using are the Everyday Arches. And I have die cut the basic black using the number 3 from the largest die. And the designers, or the in color designer series paper is going to be the number 4 die, and that's from the largest. We're going to go ahead and attach this to that. I should have muted my phone. I apologize. And we're going to attach that to that basic black arch. And then this is going to go onto our card front. And we're going to center that. So centered and straight. Sometimes that can be challenging. Oh, welcome, Mary. I'm glad that you're here. And you're in Ontario, Canada. How's your weather there today? We are having overcast. We're supposed to have chance of rain today, but I don't know if we're going to get any. It's in the 80s, kind of breezy today. All right. And then next we have 2 of the flower vases that I've fussy cut those out. And these are going to sit onto our arch there. And I probably should have put those on first. I could trim them off, but I'm going to make them work. I kind of skipped a step here, looks like. But there's no mistakes in card making. It's sometimes challenging, but no mistakes. We can usually fix them. All right, and glue down the second one. All right, got to get a new glue bottle here, I guess so. And this is going to go onto this one on the right side. All right, and then I've cut out a vase. We're going to color this one with our Stampin' blends, and we're going to be using Calypso Coral and our Peaceful Pine Stampin' blends. Let's go ahead and color those. We're going to start out with the light Calypso Coral, or Crisp Cantaloupe, I should say. And I'm going to just color in our base. I probably should put something underneath this. I guess it's not going through. I thought maybe it might bleed through, but it's not. And then I'm going to use the dark Crisp Cantaloupe. I'm going to give some shadowing. All right. And then we want to do the flowers. So I'm going to go back to the light Crisp Cantaloupe. Just got one more here. And come back with the dark. Do some shading. And that looks fairly good. Now we'll come back in with our Peaceful Pine. And I'm going to do the light. I'm going to use the bullet end so I don't mess up here. I don't want to color outside the lines if I can help it. And there's no die for this. We're going to have to fussy cut this out. But it shouldn't take us very long. I feel a sneeze coming on. So if I sneeze in the middle of this, forgive me. All right, so let's bring our paper snips over here. And we're going to just fussy cut this out. I've gotten so spoiled having dies for everything that when we have to fussy cut, I'm not sure everybody cares to do that. I don't really mind it as long as it's not real detailed. And get a little closer right there. And like I said, I didn't mute my telephone, so I apologize for that. Because I'm getting notifications coming in of some kind. And just about there. Right. That's out of the way. All right. So we're going to attach that onto the center of that, but we're going to put it up on dimensionals. So let me grab my dimensionals over here and get that going. And place that centered, a little lower than the other ones are. And then we've got a strip of cardstock here. And we're going to use our, this is called our 3-banner punch. And we're going to use that center one. So I'm going to grab a scrap of paper, which I did have one here. And it looks like I've misplaced it now. Well, I did just have it. Well, here it is. And I'm going to punch those out. I'm always cut all 3 banners at the same time. I'm sure we'll use them at a later time. I don't use them now. I'm going to use the middle one, the longer one, and we'll save these for later, for another card later. And I'm going to stamp the Get Well. And this comes from our Friendly Foliage stamp set, our Get Well Soon sentiment. And I'm just using our black memento ink pad, which was hiding there and was buried under my stuff. And Get Well Soon. Stamp that centered onto that banner. Oh, it's not the best stamping. Let me see if I can do the back side better. Let me pull it down here. I'm stamping on white, so it's hard to figure out where it is. Okay, that's a little better. Get Well Soon. And I'm going to attach that with one dimensional on the left side and just adhesive on the right side. So let me grab one dimensional, place that on to that left side, and some adhesive on the right side. And it's going to go off of the card a little bit. All right, and I forgot to put my ribbon down there. So we're just going to put a bow at the bottom. I've already made that, and this is using the, where is my bow? The ribbon is called the Crisp Cantaloupe bordered ribbon. Very pretty, and this is easy to tie bows. It's real soft and flexible. And we're going to place that underneath there with our mini glue dots. Take the pick tool to get that off. And just place that centered. And we're going to trim that off a bit. Oh, I think I just got my finger there. We don't want any blood on our cards. All right, so let's do the inside. It's our basic white, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then we've got our designer series paper that matches the front, and that measures 1/2 inch, no, 1/4 inch. What is this? Okay, it is a 1/2 inch. It didn't look like it. 1/2 inch by 4 inches, and it's going to go across the bottom. We're going to stamp our sentiment first in case we mess up, and that comes from the Prayers and Promises. And it's this sentiment right here. May you feel God's care and healing as you recover. It's going to be stamped with our black memento ink. And I'm going to stamp it upper right-hand corner. And we'll attach this designer series paper to the bottom. Figure out which way is up, which way is down. Looks like it goes that direction. And we'll leave a small space at the bottom. And I'm kind of using my grid paper to make sure that it's even. And nip off that excess. Attach this to the inside. All right, but we're not done yet. We need to add some bling. I'm just using our basic rhinestones. And I take your pick tool. And I'm going to, oh, why are my embellishments turning on me? And two up at this upper right-hand corner. And another one we will put, I'll squeeze it right in here next to that flower pot. All right. So get well soon. May you feel God's care and healing as you recover. Okay, so that's our 3 cards for today. I hope you enjoyed them. And Mary, I hope you go back and watch the replay so you can catch what you missed. We did 3 cards today. One was a fun fold, which opens this way. It says hello and thinking of you. And then our first card was using the cutest bugs. Is that what it's called? Hello, friend, and love you lots. So that's our 3 cards for today. I hope you enjoyed them. And I hope you'll be back with me next week, which will be the same day or the same on a Thursday, same time, same channels. And that will be, what is the date next week? Let me grab my calendar. It will be June 11th. So until then, y'all have a good rest of your week. Thank you for being here. Be sure you like and share the video. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that little bell so you'll be notified when I go live. All right. Like I said, thank you for being here. Bye-bye.